Good evening. I am Chris Allen. I'm the Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. Our Chair, Donovan, is not going to be able to be with us this evening, so I am going to call to order this Wednesday, January 18th, a meeting of the North Andover Finance Committee, and we're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. As usual, first on our agenda is public comment, and the hordes out there are going to come forward, and no, we really don't have them here this evening, so that's fine. And so next on our list is we're going to discuss kind of a discussion on the use of the Finance Committee reserve account. Lynn Savage is here, and she's going to just talk us through what it is that we're going to do here, and it's pretty basic.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for having me. The town manager and myself are coming forward in front of you to request an additional transfer of about $71,000. Now, the purpose of this is, as you know, the senior center is it's getting completed, and there's still some shortfalls there. One of the shortfalls were created by, we had received the $550,000 worth of money 2 town meetings ago to purchase the land, which was based on a transfer from surplus overlay. The transfer was specific to land purchases. The land purchase didn't cost $550,000. So because Mass General Law requires me, after we purchase land, that additional funds had to close back to the free cash and general fund. The senior center project had counted it and thought that it was additional money that they had, and they built the rest of the budget around having that $71,000. So when I told them that it wasn't there, of course, they were short. So we are requesting an additional $71,000 be transferred from the reserve for senior center to finish with some additional construction costs.
Can you tell me just quick the balance in the reserve, the Finance Committee
In
reserve?
the Finance Committee reserve, only $1.4 million.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what
Yeah, that's what, we
okay.
haven't touched it other than the first
Yeah.
100,000 that
Yeah.
we requested.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
So
does
we
anybody
respectfully request approval.
else have any questions?
Just have a question. So this would be a permanent transfer, not a temporary transfer?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
The extra money that went into the general fund.
Fell
that-
to free cash. So it's in the free cash number, in part of the calculation of the free cash. At the end of the
Okay.
year, I closed it out at the fiscal year 2022.
And you can't move it back?
You can't move it back without appropriation from town meeting.
So like in the next town meeting, if we wanted to, we could allocate some money back to this reserve account?
So the finance, well, it's not a reserve account, it's a reserve appropriation within the budget.
Ah.
So for example, if we don't ask for any additional funding, snow and ice doesn't go over, we don't need to use that reserve at the end of the year for my reallocation to cover deficits, that would just fall to the bottom line. And then in FY '24, of course, we're building the budget now, and we're building another 1.5 million
Yeah, oh, okay,
of reserve. So it's an appropriation that goes away.
right.
That's the way the Finance Committee reserve is
Okay.
set up by
Right.
Mass General Law.
Right, okay.
It stays at a certain level.
Right.
And-
And it helps with one-time unusual or emergency
Overages, yeah.
expenses
Yeah.
within the fiscal year that we didn't
Right.
quite budget for.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, that makes
Like
sense.
this?
Like
this.
this.
Do they
Although-
anticipate anything else?
Not that I'm aware of. I am not going to say there is or there isn't. I don't know, because I'm not involved in those daily, the weekly meetings that they have. I know Melissa is being very strict and, saying, either you got to cut back on things. I mean, this is just starting to expand quite a bit, so. But this was part of their calculations. I guess I fell on my sword and said, yeah, I closed it out, but Mass General Law requires me to close it out. I couldn't have legally used that $71,000 for construction because it was labeled for land purchases at town meeting, so.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
yep.
Very easy these days to have these expenses expand too,
Yeah.
so
They
I'm
do,
not
and
surprised.
as
that-
we've all said, and Melissa has repeated many times, that the original budget that was put forward for the senior center was how many years ago?
Yeah.
And it didn't take into account all of the soup to nuts,
Yeah.
the cost for FF&E, any inflation, anything. It was a very, very small budget, and it was very tight. And, I mean, I think you were here, Regina, during that time when we were putting all that together. So it didn't include any potential for possibilities for any errors.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Quick one. So 71,000 was returned,
yep,
and senior center is asking for 71,000. That's not a coincidence that those two numbers are the same.
they
so-
are the same, because that's what I returned, and they originally had that number included
Okay, so
as-
you're
as a
making up
use.
what would have been a budget shortfall. This gets them back to whole.
Right, right.
Okay, great.
Yep, yep.
Because the question was going to be, are there any more expenses that were?
Yeah, exactly,
Going
and
forward.
that is unknown at the moment. I mean,
Okay.
there's always something that comes up potentially, I mean, that there's a change order, because they're doing something and realize that, either they forgot to,
Gotcha.
include something in the contract, there's all different things. I mean, it's a big project.
So Lynn, is another way to say it that it's still on budget as of now, but the land was under by 71 and the building's over by 71?
Right.
That they offset each
Well,
other?
the project itself
Yeah.
was at this point, this was part of their calculation that they thought they had available for funding.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
We good? Well, I'll entertain a motion. Wait, no, entertain a motion. Let's put it this way.
I'll make approval of the
you
transfer
go.
of $71,000 from the general.
No.
So out of
From
the
the Finance
finance
Committee
From the
Finance
Finance
can-
Committee reserve to the senior center capital account?
Or
Is that-
senior center construction. I'll have to
Senior
keep
center
it within the
construction.
operating budget,
Okay,
but it will go into a construction account.
right,
like
construction
in-
account. Okay.
Right.
All right, you got
Did you
that?
get that?
Does that make sense? All right. Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Great,
That's
thanks. And I'll have you
unanimous?
sign it before I leave.
Okay, cool. All right. Great, so.
Thank you very much, everybody.
While you are sitting there,
Yes.
we're going to have a little discussion on the financial impact of the Osgood Solar.
Right, okay, so I'm not sure if all the members are aware of the solar agreement that we have with Osgood Landing. I know Regina and Chris, you've been here for a while, so you're familiar with it. It's a 20-year agreement with Osgood Solar where they provide us a payment of $86,280 a year for 20 years, which is, it's called a pilot, but it's actually comes through as a tax payment because by Mass General Law, once we got our new assessor, he realized that we were recording it wrong. We were taking it in as a local receipt, and by law, you can't. It has to be assessed, and then the tax bill, it has to come through the tax receipts. So it's still the same amount of money. We still get $86,280. It's just in a different place. So over a 20-year period, we're going to collect from Osgood Solar 1.6 million, almost $1.7 million.
Over the course of what period? I'm sorry.
20 years.
20 years, okay.
Yep, it's $86,280 a year.
Okay.
And the additional savings we have is the net metering credits from the solar array. So we have 9 town accounts and 14 school accounts that receive these net metering credits on a monthly basis on certain bills. So we have been collecting, of course, up through 2022. 2023 is a partial year, so it's hard to project that. During the construction over there, it did go down for a period of time, almost 18 months. So we lost a little bit of a gap there on actually getting net metering credits. But forecasting out from now till 2036, which is 20 years, so I hate to say that out that far, the town will have savings of 15% on the electric bills that will total about $1.2 million. So the way it works is, we get the net metering credits, then we have to pay Osgood Solar an amount, and the net credit to us is 15% on each bill. The school will have a $1.5 million savings for the 20-year period. So we get about savings about $70,000 a year for the town and about 85 to 90 on the school, depending on the usage of the bills. It's all weather driven. I mean, if you don't have a lot of sun, you don't have a lot of, solar created, energy created from it. But it's been averaging out pretty well. I mean, it's been very helpful, other than during COVID, of course, because it was an impact to us and during the construction, because we didn't expect that it was going to be down as long as it was.
Yeah.
So, there is no additional way to earn more credits, because this solar array is built out to the capacity that it's allowed. So, I think what we're getting from this is what we're going to get. And then after 20 years, who knows what's going to happen? Because we have no commitment beyond that. So it's up to the Osgood Solar and the owners of 1600 Osgood what they're going to do from
It's
that
a
point.
long time to have static
It is.
technology anyway.
It is,
So-
right. It could go away.
Whole solar
It could
technology
be
could change.
Yes,
You know,
completely, yeah.
better. I don't know.
Let's hope so.
It's hard to predict.
Yeah,
But we do
Okay.
have a 20-year commitment on it.
okay.
Okay, so I wasn't quite sure, I know it was one of the residents that had requested this information, so I'm not sure if this is what they were looking for, but there is, I mean, we've had a financial, a good impact from it. We've had savings, and it helps us all out. I mean, right now, all of the accounts, the 9 for the town and the 14 for the school, out of those, the school has, I think, 2 that they actually end up having a payment for right now. In the town, right now, we have all credits, so, and we're in winter.
Okay. Was there concern about the panels or the relationship, or don't you really?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean.
It's
there
good to
might have
know, it's
been-
good
right.
information, but
I mean, there
nevertheless.
might have been some concern where maybe they saw that the panels, that system had been down during construction, because they, of course, had to move them
Yes.
to the new location.
Right.
Once they got them moved to the new location, then we had to have National Grid come back in and connect them back
Yep.
up and reconnect the meters, and that was a long, drawn-out process, longer than we had anticipated. But, we managed to get through the budget without having any
Yeah,
too big of a problem. So now we're back on target. We're,
Okay.
getting full credits and stuff, so.
okay.
I have a
Um,
question that came right here. It's from Jen Goldman.
Yes.
To know when the committee will revisit the finances and
That's
see
the
if
one.
we are doing as expected, better than expected, or can take advantage of more solar savings than originally planned.
Right, right.
Which-
So we can't get any
Yeah,
more
right.
solar savings. We're getting what we can get.
Yep.
And we are on
Yeah,
track.
it sounds
Where,
good.
I mean,
Well,
it's.
Unless we had, I mean, is it proprietary? I mean, can the town have a relationship with another solar company? Is there anything precluding that? I'm not saying that
I
we
don't
will or
know.
have anything going, but,
I'd have to have town council look at the
Just
agreement,
curious.
because it's
Yeah,
a
it's
pretty
probably
big
contract.
agreement.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know if there is a clause in there that prevents
just-
us from doing that.
I mean, if
I
there was
don't know
another
where-
field or, that someone said like, hey, we're going to put this together, what could we do with the town? I
Right.
just wonder whether that would be feasible.
Me personally, I don't see why we couldn't.
Yeah.
It would, and it all depends on the area that it's in. For example, these accounts that we are using the credits on right now are within the metered district.
Yep.
And there's different area zones, so these were the only ones that we had in this district.
Yep.
And the good thing about this is we can also, if we have one of the bills that's not generating a lot of electricity, so the bills are really small, but we have a good percentage of the credit going to it, we can do a one-time adjustment at the end of the year and move that to pay off all the other electric bills.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it gives us that flexibility.
All right, I
Which
just
is
wonder
good.
what, maybe someone's thinking like, what more can we do? So,
Right,
yeah,
right, you're just
which
gonna
is-
find another big field somewhere that somebody wants to set up a
Put 'em on
bunch
top
of
the schools,
solar panels.
Solar panels on top of the schools. I feel like we've talked about that before.
Yeah,
and
I don't
can't remember-
think you can.
When I was on the school
Legally, I don't
committee,
think we
that was
can, because they're,
one of the things that I actually talked about, and, oh my gosh,
We can't do that.
swords.
especially
and-
since we have debt on them. I don't think, well, if we have a property that we're paying debt on until the
Oh.
debt's paid off, I believe the requirements are, it has to be, we have to own it 100%. So like the school,
Oh,
like the
interesting.
high school, we're still making payments on, we can't do that. Yeah.
There was a plan called PACE that the state was working on a couple of years ago. I don't know whatever happened with it, but it basically was a way to treat solar panels, and I don't know if schools would be under this category, but it was for businesses and even individuals as a betterment. And so it was like, it allowed the solar improvements in the property to go with the property when there was a property transfer or sale, for
Yeah.
example. And I don't know if that did away with the requirement that you have to own the building before you can.
Yeah, it could have.
So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
don't,
it was-
I haven't really followed up with it. That would be,
Just another question, do you recall the capacity of the solar field, Osgood?
I don't, not off the top of my head, but I can get you that information.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that
Yeah.
if you can find it someplace.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
It's the one where the soccer fields were.
Yeah, but I
mean, have you
ever
I see
walked
it
up-
every
gone
day.
to-
No,
no,
I haven't walked it, but,
Yeah.
It's big,
Yeah,
it is
it's
big.
good size.
yeah.
Yeah.
We did a couple in
And I
Amesbury.
think
Did
they
ya?
still
Couple,
have,
yeah,
I'm not
on-
sure if they still have some on the top of the building, because they used to. But they might have moved them all over to the field.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have any questions or concerns, or?
Yeah, I just have a question. So the agreement, I'm just trying to understand what the agreement was about. So the agreement is they're not paying us taxes on that land. In exchange for that, we're getting cheaper electric through them and the solar.
Correct.
Is that
Right, but they do
basically
pay
just
us,
of
they
it?
pay us the $86,000 a year
Oh, okay.
as a
I
property
see.
tax.
Okay.
Which so the assessor will assess the property, and then he has to calculate it so that it brings the tax bill down to the $86,000,
Oh, okay, okay, I see.
but it's on an annual basis. Yep.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's just for that portion of the land where the solar sits?
Correct. Yep, because the building itself is assessed as a real estate
Mhm.
tax, not.
Yep, makes
Yeah.
sense. Anyone else? Okay, this is nothing to vote on, this is just informational.
No, it's just informational. Yep,
Okay,
yep.
all right, well, if nobody else has any questions for Lynn, we can let her go home.
I just want to have you, I'll bring this over so
Yeah,
you to
we
sign
couldn't
it.
adjourn yet, we gotta approve some
Thank
minutes.
you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
Yeah, I'm going to have you sign it.
Yeah, next up is just the approval of, I'll sign this for you right now, okay. Thank you, ma'am, you too. All right, okay, so we have two sets of minutes from November 22, 2022, and December 14th, 2022. I don't know if anybody's had a chance, if you want to take a minute or two to look at these, if you haven't read them already. I'll tell you right now that I am not going to be able to vote on the minutes of December 14th because I was sick.
So I wasn't there either, but I do see something.
Do you?
At the bottom for the adjournment, I don't think that the meeting could end at 6:45 if it started at 7.
Oh, you're kidding me. How did I miss that? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one, that's why. Where does it say on the last page?
I missed that. I just read that.
Oh, yes, to adjourn. Okay.
But again, I wasn't here either, so.
I'm going to say that you probably got to be right about that. Yeah, the try.
7:45 sounds about right if we started at 7.
Well, you know what we can
You
do?
weren't there, it wasn't a full hour.
Yeah, was that the tri-board meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember it not starting at the normal time.
they start at a normal
Yeah,
time,
It
right?
says it does. It started at 7.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah,
can
it
make a
probably
note of
starts
that
like
when
5
we
minutes.
approve it, just
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the clerical error to be, the time should be amended. Okay. Adjourn time to be amended. Good catch.
So, can we approve them if, like if you two weren't there? Was it the same meeting that you weren't there? Because then do we have a quorum to,
1, 2, 3, 4, well, not, you know?
I guess yes, if we have 5 of us who
Yeah,
were
there's
there.
5 of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll move approval of the minutes from our meeting on November 22nd and December 14th, pending the correction of a clerical error on the end time
Sorry, are
of the
we
meeting.
voting on both?
Both.
The meetings here, because I wasn't there on the.
You were,
other
okay, I'll switch
Yeah,
it.
same,
So-
yeah.
I retract that.
Go
I
one
move
at a
approval
time.
of the meeting, the meeting minutes from our meeting on November 22nd, 2022.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay, passes.
Okay, I will move approval of the minutes from our meeting on December 14th, 2022,
With the,
with the expectation of a clerical error to be corrected on the adjournment time.
time. Okay. A second?
Second.
Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And you and I abstain. Passes. Okay, so we have passed the minutes. Great. So we are good with that. And next big item up, as I will entertain, unless anybody else has anything else to share? Anything else going on? Topics? No? Okay, going once, going twice. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, unanimous.
Aye.
That's it.